What's up guys, Shawnthebro here, and we're back for another episode of the fighting game tutorial series. In today's episode, we're going to be going over cleaning up hitboxes part 5. Many episodes in the series have been dedicated to hitboxes, and recently in our series we've been going over cleaning up blueprint logic, condensing code, getting rid of unused assets, and a whole lot more. We were doing this so that things like rollback netcode, story mode with AI, and other advanced topics that we need to finalize our series are able to easily use all the other systems, and we're able to expand upon it if we want to, and everything is functioning as it should be, as quickly as it should be. We've gone over many classes, many blueprints, many assets for this, including the game mode, animation blueprint, projectiles, characters, and hitboxes. This is another episode on hitboxes. Now before we hop into this episode, if you want to get caught up in the entire series and see how we've done things like our projectiles, our input buffer, our timer, our game modes, and other things like that, I'll link you to the entire fighting game tutorial series playlist right here in the top right corner. If you only care about hitboxes, either keeping clean hitboxes in your game or just making hitboxes for a fighting game project, I'll link you to the first episode where we implement hitboxes in this series, because although this episode is very important, we won't be going into the same depth as to why we're doing a lot of this logic as we did in the initial episodes. We're just cleaning it up, making it better for the future. So that's the first episode of hitboxes in this game right here in the top right corner. Now with that out of the way, we can go ahead and get started. This is a code and blueprint tutorial series, but as I already mentioned, we're going to be converting logic from the Hitbox Actor blueprint to code, or to C++, so we'll be working in both today. To start out, we need to go to our blueprints, functional BPs, Hitbox Actor BP, or Hitbox Actor blueprint, so that we can get to the functions and logic that we want to convert to code. Take a look at our function list, and we want to specifically go to check complex collision. This is a function that is very similar to one of the recent functions that we converted, check simple collision. In our game, we have the concept of simple hurtboxes and hitboxes, which are 2 and 2.5D hitboxes and hurtboxes, and complex hitboxes and hurtboxes, which are 3D hitboxes and hurtboxes. So for today's episode, I want to convert check complex collision to a code function, or C++ function that we call instead of this blueprint logic. We'll also clean it up a little bit and make it slightly easier to read as well. This is what we're going to convert to code. So if we go to our code, we can go to Visual Studio or our IDE of choice and go to our classes here. We want to find our Hitbox Actor class. So hitboxactor.cpp and hitboxactor.h. In hitboxactor.h, we can scroll down to where our functions are. I'm going to put this one right below my check simple hurtbox collision because they're so similar. We're going to have a very similar comment. Determine if a collision has occurred with a complex, which is a 3D hurtbox. Then for the U function, we have to make it blueprint callable because we are going to call it from the check collision function, just like check simple hurtbox collision. This is a blueprint implementable event, and thus we need this function to be blueprint callable if we want to use it in there. Then we just have to make the function itself, which is going to be bool check complex hurtbox collision. And just like check simple hurtbox collision, it is going to take in the player reference, or our fighter template character pointer called hurtbox owner. Now this is a fighter template character pointer because our characters are what have hurtboxes on them, but theoretically you could convert this to any other actor pointer for anything that has a hurtbox, and it would work in here. That's why I just call it a hurtbox owner. It's kind of generic in case we want to update it. Regardless, this is the function that we want to make, and so now if we go into hitboxactor.cpp, we can go down below our check simple hurtbox collision in here and make our check complex hurtbox collision in here. Bool a hitbox actor, : check complex hurtbox collision, and in parentheses we want our a fighter template character pointer, hurtbox owner. Once we have our function here, it's going to be pretty similar to check simple hurtbox collision, but I'm going to mainly be taking from the blueprint today just to make sure that we've copied the logic over appropriately. If we go back to the blueprint, you'll see that we check to see if our player reference is valid before doing anything. You'll notice in the blueprint we did have a boolean that was a local variable just called collision occurred, so this is a very similar process here. So bool has collision occurred, default it to false, just like we did above. Then we're going to check and see if hurtbox owner is valid. So if hurtbox owner, If hurtbox owner is not valid, we don't go into this if statement, which means we can simply return has collision occurred, which will be false, and that will be accurate. And now if we go back to the blueprint, we've already taken care of this section right here. The next thing we want to do is this section where we grab the for each loop with break based on the complex hurtbox array. But I did want to note that this is not valid in this initial check here. It's not going to anything. The blueprint is smart enough to know that it will return a default value. In this case, for a Boolean, it would be false. But it is better, in my opinion, to always manually return so that we know the exact behavior that will occur. And so we really should have said return value false or brought it into the return node with collision occurred, which defaults to false. That way we could have the expected logic working. It was clear to the other developers or other people that look at this what's going on. We weren't doing that in the code, now we are, so that is an improvement. Regardless though, we want to go back to the code now and deal with this for loop I was mentioning. We need to get the complex hurtbox array off of the character. We need to do this because we need to use each complex hurtbox to determine the location and if they're overlapping with this hitbox or not. So we can make a for loop in here for, and we need to know the type of the array that we're going to be looping through. It is an array of uStatic mesh component pointers. You can find this out by going to your fighter template character.h and searching for your array. Complex hurtboxes, or actually it's complex hurtbox array. Then we see that's uStatic mesh component pointer. So we're going to do for uStatic mesh component pointer. We'll call this hurtbox. And we'll say equals, and we need to grab our character, which is hurtbox owner, and we need to get the complex hurtbox array of that character. So hurtbox owner arrow get complex hurtbox array, get complex hurtboxes. But we won't be able to do this yet because there is no function called that. We need to make one. We need to make a getter just like we did for our get simple hurtboxes. And we can do this in our fighter template character down in a public section or a public space. I'm going to go down to the very bottom here, and we're going to get the array of complex 3D hurtboxes. This is going to be a T array of uStatic mesh component pointers. We're going to call it get complex hurtboxes. We're going to make it constant because we don't need to change anything about the array. We just need to retrieve it, so const. Then we're going to inline it and say return complex hurtbox array. And that's our getter for these complex hurtboxes. That means we can go back to hitboxactor.cpp and make sure that you don't use an equal sign like I did here. We actually want this to be a colon because this is a for each loop. So for uStatic mesh component pointer hurtbox in hurtbox owner get complex hurtboxes. This is handling what we have in the blueprint for that for each loop. We have to now use the loop body and fill out the behavior here. So we're checking to see if the hurtbox is overlapping the hitbox mesh component. We are in the hitbox actor, so we have access to the hitbox mesh. Just like we did in the check simple hurtbox collision. So simply hurtbox arrow is overlapping component, and we're going to pass in hitbox mesh. And we want to put this in an if statement because we're determining if we are overlapping it or not. If we are, this means that a collision has occurred. After this, we were setting the collision occurred to be true if the branch returned true, which it has if we're inside of this if statement. So also like check simple hurtbox collision, we just want to set has collision occurred equal to true at this point. Then after that, we need to determine where the hit location was because we display effects at this location and we can do some other logic based on the actual hit location as well. Now we can copy the exact line from the check simple hurtbox collision if we want. It's slightly different from the blueprint, but I will explain why this is okay. The logic in the blueprint says get the hurtbox world location, add it to the hitbox mesh world location, get the absolute value of it, then multiply it by 0.5, same as dividing by 2, and set that to the hit location. What this is doing is getting the average location of the hitbox and the collided hurtbox so that it can play visual effects and whatever else we want with it. This function here, this algorithm, does get the hurtbox get component location and hitbox mesh get component location, adds them, then multiplies by 0.5 or divides by 2, but it doesn't get the absolute value. However, we actually don't need to get the absolute value. If this is a negative value, that's okay. These values can be negative because we don't care about the magnitude or anything. We just care about the actual vector, the actual location. So we were doing a little bit extra that we don't need to do. This line will work perfectly. We can flat out copy and paste this from the check simple hurtbox collision along with the comment, and it will work well. You see that hit location is a variable that we have in our hitbox actor, so you don't even have to add anything to do this. So anyway, again, hit location equals hurtbox get component location plus hitbox mesh get component location times 0.5f. That accounts for all of this, and then afterward we were breaking out of our for loop. We can do this here as well, because once we've already found a collision, we don't need to keep checking for collisions with other hurtboxes on the character. We've already found our collision with this hitbox. That is enough to do everything that we need to do with it. So we can simply call break in the code. And we left a comment and checked simple hurtbox collision for this break out of the for each loop whenever any successful collision occurs. We can copy this and paste it down there as well. And we're looking pretty good. This function is now functional. It has been ported from blueprints to code. At this point, you can relaunch the editor. The editor is back open. If we go back into Hitbox Actor BP here, and we open up our check complex collision function, we should have access to our check complex hurtbox collision that we made in the code. And that means we can replace all references to this function with that one. If we do a find results or Control F to pop up this tab or window here, we can search for check complex collision. You'll see that it's called one time in here, and then this is the function itself. So we have one call to check complex collision. If we use the binoculars here, this is find in all blueprints. We want to make sure that we're not using this anywhere else. And you can see that we are not using it anywhere else. So this means we just have to replace this one reference. And we were calling it here. So instead of calling check complex collision, we want to call check complex hurtbox collision. This is our code function. We want to connect the return value of this function into the branch that has collision occurred was going into, and we want to plug in the fighter template character object reference that was coming from the cast here, essentially not the owner of this hitbox because we're checking against other actors. We want to see if we hit other actors. We want to drag that into the hurtbox owner right here, same as check simple hurtbox collision is doing. Then we remove the blueprint function, the check complex collision. We plug true of the previous branch is using complex hurtboxes into this function call, and then we plug this into the branch. At this point, we can clean it up, and we are good to go. If we use our complex hurtboxes now, they will function as expected, and that means we can remove check complex collision in the Hitbox Actor BP, and everything will work. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode on cleaning up your hitboxes and hurtboxes in your fighting game. If you did and you want to check out more, please subscribe. It does more for myself and the channel than anything else you can do, and I really appreciate it. I want to give a huge shout out to my YouTube membership, Discord subscriptions, and Patreon members. You guys are fantastic, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for all the love and support. If you ran into any problems following this tutorial or any of my tutorials, feel free to join the Discord community. There is a link in the description, and that is completely free. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Shawnthebro, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.